Hello everyone, how y'all doing today? My name is Preach It to Him Chris off of the Teach It to Him Chris YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going over the different producer markets, how you could accrue different streams of income working in the music industry of all different levels. So let's get into it. So first of all, if you don't know who I am a music industry producer. I have accumulated over 100 million streams off of all my production work, but today we're going to be talking about how you can make some money. So, again, let's get right into it. So, the first way that you could make an income off of being a music producer is definitely through the beat sale market. So, usually, what people will do is that they will start posting on YouTube, SoundCloud. I put an asterisk by there because that wave is dying down just a little bit, or even your social media, funneling them into your website or an email, or even through a DMing system, and they will sell beats for a living. So the good thing about this beat sell market, right? So there is a low barrier to entry. So if I was say go back in time about 10 years ago to when I was 15, I could start right away. And the payoff is that it is great for producers who are just starting out, and it is awesome. And you can make a full time career if you are consistent and are consistently beating the algorithm for 5 plus years. Another advantage to the beat sell market is that you are pandering to an international market. So it isn't limited to say if you had a engineering studio out in say California, you're usually going to be tucked off from the rest of the world. So people who listen to your beats, they're all able to buy from your product. A negative thing about the beat sell market, especially if you are going to be posting on YouTube, is that typically, and this is my experience, the product itself, the outcome is lower quality. So because you are opening your beat market up to the whole world, anybody's gonna be able to buy your beat. So that means that it's just gonna be lower quality sometimes. Another disadvantage is that a lot of people are going to be stealing your beats if you don't have a foolproof way of protecting them, or if you don't have someone who is able to take those beats off for you. It can get kind of overwhelming in regards to how many people are actually going to be stealing your beats. Some additional tips that I have for the beat sell market on YouTube, SoundCloud, social media, from my experience, definitely try posting 3 to 4 beats a week. Become a expert in search engine optimization, and that is essentially knowing how to hashtag and release your stuff right. And also, don't be confined to only YouTube. You could also make sales on TikTok, Instagram, SoundCloud. I think that it is really good if producers just posted them everywhere if they're trying to get the most ears. So next is the Loops social media slash YouTube email funnel. The barrier to entry is medium, and I say this because you really have to become good at networking with other producers. Some different ways that you could get your loops out is through YouTube or just simply DMing other producers on social media, on Facebook, on Reddit posts, on Discord, Instagram. A advantage to the loop market is that there are very high payoffs with placements. So what this means is if you could score a high placement with a popular producer using your loops, that saves you a lot of time having to network with other people. For example, if there are 3 producers on the beat and we're all at the same time trying to get the beat placed, that's just 3 times more chance that we are going to get the beat placed. The thing is, it's a pretty volatile market. You have to be consistent with marketing and funneling. So things like email funnels or just simply reaching out producers to other producers consistently, you are able to kind of not, you don't have to experience that. But what I'm trying to say is You have to be on point with your marketing. You have to be on point with always being sure that you are connecting with other people. A disadvantage is stolen loops. So there are other producers out there who just don't understand the business side or will become shady with your loops. So just be sure that you have your business on point. If you could get someone who can advocate for you on the lawyer side, that would help, greatly benefit you into not having to deal with these problems. And we'll get more into that later. So another way that you can make an income is through producer self-releases. So I would say that the barrier to entry is very high because you have to act as an artist while you release your own music on different DSPs such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. And I would say that it's definitely tough because you have to start over with a whole different algorithm. So producer self releases is essentially releasing your own stuff, releasing your own beats where everybody in the world can availably listen to your music. And there is definitely a niche for instrumental beats, people who want to work out or simply use background music on YouTube or for their content. A good thing about producer self releases is that you can have a lot of artistic freedom. You can do what you want, and no one's gonna be telling you anything because these are going to be your own self releases. So if you're trying to hit a market that is niche, sort of such as workout music or even freestyle beats, there is a market for anything. You'll be very surprised. Another positive about producer self releases is that they may or may not funnel into sync placements, but you would have to do the marketing for yourself. And also, typically, because you are releasing through yourself, you own all of your masters and publishing unless there is another person or you are signed to a label. Here is another idea of how you can make more income, and this is through the influencer market. The barrier to entry is very high. I'd say one of the toughest things to break because you are actively asking other brands and other communities, other people to invest into you. So, how are you as a producer adding value to that brand? On YouTube, in order to even start making streaming money, you need to have, I'd say, I think it's about 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and also I think around 4,000 hours. But that just comes to the point that the barrier to entry is very hard. Um, but a good thing, if you do break that market, the influencer market, and you're getting 50,000, 75,000, 100,000 on your posts, views, I'm saying, then that could strike you really good brand deals. And then you could eventually funnel people into your own product, such as streaming and publishing. If you sell beats, then you could funnel people to buy your beats or your loops. And excuse me, another advantage to the influencer market is ad revenue. So essentially, like YouTube and Facebook and even Snapchat, if you are able to accrue ad revenue, then once you post, then you're done. A disadvantage to the influencer market is that you have to play within the rules of the algorithm and the influencer market. So there are rules to engagement, there are rules to likes, how many comments you have, how much people are how much time people are watching through your video is very important if you want to break the algorithm. And next, I'd say that you would have to stay very highly consistent because you are always having to worry about hitting your goals, your view goals, or even engagement goals on the different platforms. Some things that you have to ask yourself is my material translatable through every single platform? Is this short or this reel going to do good on YouTube or just Facebook or just on Instagram? So those are some of the beginnings and the basics to the influencer market, but it is a harder market to crack. But I believe with just consistency, anybody can do it. So the next thing, next stream of income for music producers and even artists is the idea of synchronization placements. The barrier to entry is very high because you have to connect and network with different music libraries, music supervisors, the higher ups who are taking care of the creative portion of their movies, their documentaries, their TV shows, commercials. You need to have a big catalog in order to pander to these people who are you working with. So I would definitely recommend having a diverse portfolio, very poppy and very just music that you are able to listen to when you're walking down the street. So you don't have so much freedom when it comes to sync placements because most of the time, and in my experience with sync placements, you need to, when they are giving you your brief, it is going to be more on the specific side. A advantage to sync placements is that there is a big payoff with larger firms and corporations. These people don't play with what the money that they have, but your business needs to be right. So you need to have your contacts ready. Um, you may need to have a lawyer who can handle your paperwork for you, and that will probably be the what is regular in the industry. But with sync placements, there is a very high barrier to entry. Like it's very hard for people to break through sync placements and consistently. And just think about if you have to do it 30 to 40 years down the line. So the next stream of income that you can have is through publishing your admin deal. If you have an admin deal, or if you sign with a label, the barrier to entry is very high. But once you get in, you have great connections because most likely, and in my experience of being a signed producer, they have great connections with people because they have their briefs and they have the connections to tell you what artists are looking for. So there is a very high payoff with placements. You have your upfront and then your pub and the master. Unfortunately, and usually, this is what you are able to make is limited to what the artist wants. In my experience, it can take months or even years for a project to get out if it does. But a good thing is that you have pretty good freedom with your beat selection and your loops. And I put beats slash loops on there because there are producers out there who were just doing loops. So this is the last thing that I want to say, but I am very big picture, and we need to be able to, as producers, be able to, um, we need to be able to, sorry, okay. We need to be able to be flexible with the market. So there are other things that you can do down the line once you get your foot in the door a little bit better. So you could perform in front of crowds, you could do teaching, get into mentorship, possibly marketing A&R once you figure out the industry a little better, or you could own a studio. So these are sort of things that you probably won't start out with, but down the line, if say that if you're like an 18 through 20-year-old producer, these things aren't really like top priority. But down the line, these can really make you some good money. So thank you for joining today. I hope that you got something out of this. Is there anything that I missed? Let me know.